Welcome back to another season of the Bay Area Examiner Film Room. I'm Seth Varnadore, and I'll be taking you through the film of USF's big win against Boise State. A lot of good stuff on the film, a little bit bad, but when you have a big win like that, mostly good. So let's go ahead and get to it. As patrons, you guys will get this first, and then this will go out wide later in the week. But let's start with the first turnover of the game. So USF is playing cover one with a rat. So there's a safety back here, off screen here. And you have your linebacker here. This is going to be the rat player. Everybody else is playing man-to-man coverage, basically. So you got off man here with cover one defense. The ball's thrown outside quick. Good job by the corner coming down to make the tackle. And then Jalen Schuler does a great job of delivering a big hit. Nice. And ends up falling on the fumble that he caused for a big play there early in the game. So first third down or big third down stop, first turnover of the game. But on this third down, USF plays cover one, plays man, pretty aggressive, right? Coming back on the other side of the ball, USF gets the football. So one thing I thought was really interesting early in the game, and you didn't see USF get to until maybe the third drive, but USF put formation into the boundary. So they put the strong side of their formation into the boundary. So you see you got three receivers. Most defenses would say that's the strong side. And then if you include the back, you really got four receivers to the short side of the field. And you have one receiver down here to the strong side. You can kind of see his helmet there at the very bottom of the screen. So you got that to the strong side. But look at, how many bodies Boise has on, right, the screen right here. So you've got 9 bodies right here, probably one high safety and one on one down here at the bottom, right? So USF, I think this is kind of a spot where the interesting thing here is you see a deficiency, but you also see an opportunity later. So protection, Boise does a pretty good job running the game here. You initially pick it up okay. Back does a good job finding the looper. Your guard just loses this protection here, and that results in a sack on third down. But you did get some good information. You learned right off the bat, if I go formation into the boundary, Boise's going to overload it and match that formation into the boundary. All right, so Boise's got a 3rd and 9 here. So last 3rd and long, right? You played cover one here. You end up playing, looks more like I think you get a too high shell here, but you get this guy running to the flat. So I think he may be thinking, it's main coverage. He's running with him, but he kind of pushes him, reroutes him, and then flies to the flat and gets underneath this throw. He sees this corner bailing, thinks I got an easy throw out here to the comeback, lets it rip, and this is one that probably, right, should have been intercepted, right? So all the talk about fumble luck, listen, they got lucky not to throw probably 3 interceptions in this game. But this is a good look at how USF kind of mixed up where you had, some man, and now here's some zone. A little different look here. And the rush up front, nothing crazy. Maybe a little game here or there. But really just mixing up the coverage, confusing the quarterback a little bit, and probably should have been a pick there on 3rd down. All right, so Boise has the ball. You get a 2nd and 10 here. So good little concept here by Boise. Again, you're playing some type of kind of too high look. Could be like a quarter half. I don't know. It looks like they're playing man here and playing some type of zone there. I'm not sure if this is kind of like a different match if it's made on the back and they're playing like poach or something. It's hard to tell without seeing the full field. But Boise does a pretty good job. They run kind of a mesh concept almost with the receiver. So he's going to go to the flat. He's going to run the shallow here. The back is going to be the second shallow on the mesh type look. And then you're going to have a dig. So all this kind of underneath eye candy kind of gets the attention of the underneath defenders here and expands them for creating a window for the dig route. And then you get a 4th and 1 here. And this is the difference. USF, right, the previous drive has a 4th and 1. They cannot convert. Boise has a 4th and 1 here. They are able to just convert and keep the chains moving. And that gets you a chance to make a play on 3rd and goal. USF did a pretty good job getting to this 3rd and goal. They're just going to run like a shielded slant or a shield slant. This guy, so it's man coverage. They're almost in a stack, but not quite. So he's playing man-to-man here. He's got man-to-man there. He's going to inside release and just kind of get this guy to turn and run with him. And they're basically all he's trying to do is keep inside leverage and shield him away from this underneath throw. Now, I think if you break on this underneath throw a little quicker, you have a chance, but it happens very fast. Really good concept here by Boise. You see right there, he's just breaking underneath right now, making this a little bit more difficult. But there is some space here. If he breaks on that a little bit sooner, sees a little quicker, you've got a chance. But Boise gets it out to a big body that's already in motion. Momentum takes him in the end zone. Football, at many times, just turns into a physics problem. If you got the bigger body moving faster, you're going to win the matchup, right? So that's what happens there. So then we see USF here, 2nd and long. Try to go with tight ends with trips opposite. And again, it's that kind of interior pass rush. The guard area is where a lot of the rush came from, it seemed like. Trying to get, it looks like, kind of possibly a vertical choice concept. It's hard to tell exactly. You're going to get this coming across to occupy, then you're going to get a switch release here. It's possible that you have this coming back if that is the choice outside, because it looks like this safety or this nickel is bailing and you're getting man coverage here. So you could possibly stick it on that if you have time, but the rush gets there a little too fast. And nothing, crazy, a 4-man rush. You get a 5th man here. Adding on once the tight end goes. Back does a decent job of getting to it. Again, the backs did a pretty good job on these sacks, right? It's that losing that in the interior there is the issue. So now you're in a 3rd and 17. So they don't go formation in the boundary here, but they do know that they're probably going to get the trip side overloaded, right? So the 3 receiver side, whether it's into the boundary, to the field, they have a pretty good idea that Boise's going to rotate the coverage to that 3 receiver side. So you feel like you're going to get a one-on-one backside, which is kind of what they get here. Protection is good. Try to run a game. Again, you see the back stepping up and helping. Your guard is beat, but the back steps up. Gives your quarterback a chance to step into the throw. So this seemed to be a concept they really liked this week. And this is they throw this later as well. We'll go back to the top here. Kind of like a dagger concept. He's going to run kind of a through route. He's going to run a sit. And then he's going to run the dig kind of behind it. So it's really like dagger. A lot of times dagger, you may have a flat element, but this kind of gets a little bit deeper down the field, can maybe hold nickel or outside linebacker there, and then wrap it around him. And now backside, I don't know if it's auto, if they're called a post or if it's some kind of choice, but he runs to the post here. The through route kind of holds the safety a little bit. You see there's the through route. Looks like the safety might have just got too low. There's the dig coming in. There's the sit right there. And you win over the top. Really good job by Chaz Ninrod going up and getting it. This is one with a better ball. You may score, but this is kind of the first big downfield throw of the game. You tell the quarterback sometimes, hey, man, if he's open, just make sure we complete it, right? Just give him a catchable ball, let him go make a play. So he goes and makes a play. You convert a 3rd and 17, which is pretty unusual. Then you get yourself into a 3rd and 6 here. Again, you get into a trips bunch set down here. You feel like you're going to get Boise to rotate the coverage. Really good job here, kind of switching this up. It looks like Boise may be bringing something from the field side. USF moves the back late post-snap, runs speed optioning off the end here, the outside defender, and then just everybody's zoning left, right? So everyone's zone stepping left. So even if you're bringing pressure off the backside edge, we're running away from it. Man coverage, you're just running off. Able to get to the second level here up front, and then now this guy's in no man's land. So he's going to take the pitch. He plays it. Byram gets downhill, and he's really, really good on the perimeter and that speed option look. That's something he's been good at his whole career at USF. So right here, the run action, looks like Boise is trying to add on rushers late here. They go to more of a zone look here. Again, you see they're committing 4 over 3 down here. So all the trips look, you're getting a lot of one-on-one backside. Now you do have a safety over the top there, but these intermediate throws are open, and Byron makes a really good throw from what is a pretty crowded pocket, right? Good run fake. You see he comes to add on here. You just replace him with the football, basically throw it right behind his head. And again, I don't know if this is a called dig route or if this is some kind of choice he has, right? Because he could be, all right, so why it could be a choice, I think it's possible that your choices are a go route, a comeback. If you have a safety, if there's no safety, you can maybe run a post. If there is a safety there, maybe you can convert it to a dig, right? So if it's too high safety, maybe you want to run a dig in front of them. If there's one high safety or no safety there, I could run a skinny post. If the corner's rolled up, I could run a go. I don't know if he's got eyes here. If he's getting out, widening to the flat, run the dig instead of the comeback. I'm not exactly sure how they teach it, what they teach it, but he ends up running a dig, and it kind of replaces this linebacker here. And Byram does a good job kind of through traffic, getting the ball out, catchable football for another first down there. And then here's one of the runs. Boise brings pressure. They do a good job kind of picking it up. That's kind of a phantom holding call here. This is what they call the hold on. I don't think it's that egregious. If anything, the play was already by him already. But put this one on here more for just the run from Byram here. Really, really high-level stuff, obviously. Breaking like 5 or 6 tackles. Broke a tackle from 15 twice. 7 was not expecting that. Runs it in there. A little bit of a ticky-tack call. But 2nd and 20. Looks like you're going hitch. In the passing game, it looks like you're going like hitch, slot fade almost on both sides possibly. Hard to see at the top of the route if there's anything else, but it looks to be kind of hitches and slot fades. Or maybe just Haas, hitch seam. Byram does a good job. Smoke each other here. An unbelievable run. So, unfortunately, it gets called back. You get yourself in a 3rd down, 3rd and 15. You're hoping, let's see what we can pick up here. I'm assuming this is vertical choice. Again, I don't know. But, they seem to love these, hey, take a chance at the go route. If he plays off, come straight back down your stem. So when you see them coming way back to the football, like the receivers are coming right back down and running away from the defensive back, that's kind of part of the teaching. So when I make my decision, let's say the corner's playing way off, so I decide I'm going to run a comeback instead of the go route, right? I want to maintain the cushion I have away from the corner. So if he's 5 yards off when I make my decision, I want to be 5 yards off when I catch the ball. So that's why you'll see them come back way down to the football sometimes. Now here, I think this ball was catchable, but this has got to be, I think, now you've obviously got some, again, let's look at the Alvin Isaac here in pass pro. You've got some distress and disturbances at your feet here. So it's tough to kind of, really step into the throw, but he's very rotational. He's a very rotational thrower. So he's not like doing big strides into it anyways. He's kind of getting his foot down and rotating over the front leg. So he's got room to make this throw. It's low, and if you're going to miss, you want to miss low and away, right? You don't want to miss high and inside. That could be picked, and you would like your receiver to go down and catch this, but a better ball, maybe he's got a chance to do something with it. Not a terrible throw, but this is where you want to miss. So like if you're going to miss, this is where you want to miss. Low and away, high and inside is pick six city. That's kind of how those works on those comebacks. So especially with all the distress your feet, catchable ball, obviously better placement. Maybe you can do something with it, catch it, make a guy miss. You have a chance at a first down, but should be a catch moving into an easier field goal. Now you end up, since your kicker can hit bombs, it doesn't end up mattering too much, but down the line, that could be something where, all right, we need to be able to complete like a 10-yard throw to move the chains or to at least get us in a more makeable field goal position. So 3rd and 12 for Boise. Again, USF, right, showed man. Again, they go zone here, and this is one that you get him tricked again, and you drop somebody right into the throw. And you're just I'm not sure what happened. You just take your eye off it, and you're not able to kind of get that thing picked off. So I'm not sure what the concept is outside, but he's breaking out. You're going to drop him right to the flat. So he's dropping right underneath this throw right here. So that's what I think USF had them scouted really well. Like they're dropping underneath a ton of these throws. If he turns his head a little bit sooner, he may pick that and house it. The ball sneaks in somehow. Boise converts on 3rd and long. But there's a few like that where you're right there, and it looks like, man, if you turn your head just a second sooner, it's an interception. 3rd and 10. This is a perfect example of a vice tackle. So that's a term you'll hear a lot. A vice tackle is when you want to get two guys converging on the tackle and just kind of vice the guy in, right? You're going to get two guys converging here. Look at this. Both guys. And then I'll play at full speed first because this is with some physicality here too. Like there's a thud here, but look at like the positioning of it. It's perfect. 3rd and 10, right? Like one of USF's biggest issues has been tackling in the open field. Right here, this is like teach tape perfect. Bringing the noise, bringing a little bit behind your pads here, and going 2-on-1 and getting him down on the ground. So really good vice tackle there. All right, 3rd down and 8 here. You want to go. It seems like you're going shallow, deep crosser. I'm not sure if they were going, but it was 3 deep kind of in a shallow. A lot of times with that, it's going to be like deep to the opposite hash. If you get man, you can kind of alert that. And then more like a post, or I'm not sure if he's up this seam and it's true like 4 verts, but with the shallow. So if you are expecting man, which I would think by this you may have been expecting man, you can drop it down or hit that guy coming on the crosser. Again, another protection issue here. So I think this is the worry going into the next game is protection and kind of ability up front to protect and then run the ball without having to run the quarterback a ton. I think that's going to be the biggest these next 2 games against Florida and Miami. If you can clean up these issues, you can have success. But if you can't clean up these issues, I think it's going to be tough. And now you get there at the very end. This set Byram off. You get the throw there at the end of the penalty. So USF next play comes to just some zone read, and you're going to arc the tight end, right? So instead of splitting and kicking, he's going to arc for the first thing outside this end. So you're running zone here. We're all stepping left, working our play side gap. Byram's reading the end here. If he jumps inside of this block, follow your blocker, right? He jumps inside. Here comes my blocker. He's got eyes there. Boise's got a safety flying downhill. Hey, that's what he's your fitter there in that gap. Fit this. Byram lowers the shoulder, runs him over, picks up the first down, right? Very next play. Now, this one's an interesting one. So you don't catch the initial snap here, but you're gonna have a dig here off the run action. Then you're gonna have switch verts here where he's almost running up the seam. He's running down the sideline. The tempo they ran this with, obviously you see the replay graphic is still, or the conference graphic from the replay is still on the screen here. You could have literally thrown it to any single receiver for a big play here. Boise was out of sorts big time, right? So you see here, there's your single high safety. Here's your corner over here, right? He's running with this, so there's nobody running with that. Byram again threw kind of some duress. So really good game from him throwing from the pocket under some stress here. This is not an easiest, super cleanest pocket. Makes the throw on the money, but he could have thrown it here. And then if you see kind of off screen, he probably, it looks like this corner is trailing, I believe, Chaz Nimrod up here. So he probably could have thrown it there too. He could have thrown it to any of these guys. But he makes a nice, accurate throw here to Singleton. The tempo with the run action here. On the money, on target. And Singleton's able to make something happen after the catch, right? So there's a good shot of the tempo right there, making a big difference. 2nd and 10. Looks like they go back to this kind of dagger look a little bit where he's through. He's motioning out. He's running a flare. And then you have, I believe this is the dig behind it, right? Just the one to Koger, I believe. Yep. So I don't know if that's a called dig. It looks like it's a choice because these guys are dead over here. So I'm assuming that's just dead, because they're not really doing anything. So that they're kind of a dead play. So I would think he's running kind of the bender to try to occupy the safety, and then you got the vertical choice outside where you can dig, go, post, and come back. And again, I'm kind of guessing on these choices. I don't know for sure because they don't really give a ton of info out in this offense. They're pretty secretive. But you get the dig, good throw. It's called an incompletion, but good throw. Good choice if that's you're supposed to make your choice there. Hold on to the ball. But I really loved the fight from USF on these fumbles, right? Four's already celebrating. He's getting ready to – you can see he's got the finger up here. He's getting ready to do the old finger that way, the double point, maybe in honor of Hulk Hogan. But Koger somehow gets back on the ball before that, and they end up calling it incomplete. But great effort just to get back on that football. So you got 3rd and 10 here, and here's Byram breaking out. This is a really good – this is really pretty good pass protection rep in some spots, and I kind of want to highlight it here. Obviously, Byram deciding, I'm going to lower the shoulder at the goal line and make somebody feel it. is always nice and gets the team going. But watch. So you're going to get slant, and then they're going to wrap this guy back inside. Watch Alvin Isaac here. Really good job getting just enough. It's not perfect, but he gets just enough. Byram's able to avoid and work the pocket, and then he's just a dude, and this is just being a dude. Bang, touchdown. So 1st and 5 here. This is, I think, one of Boise's biggest runs of the game, and this is something you'll probably see a ton from Florida Miami. This is a play they like. It's duo, so we're trying to get as many double teams as possible at the point of attack. The back inserts on the backside, and it's kind of looking at linebackers. If they fill, he'll bounce it. So that means your corners are going to have to come up and make tackles, or somebody in your defensive backfield is going to have to come up and make a tackle, right? So right here, he bounces it, able to slip the tackle, and this is where they get their biggest run of the night, right? To break a couple tackles. Didn't do it a ton, but this is where it was. And this is what you'll see from Florida Miami. This is a concept they both really like and will run a good bit. So you got to get ready for that. Now, there's a clip later. They do a really good job defending it. So, and then once Boise could get the run game going, that gets them the play action pass game. And here's another one where you're in pretty good shape here, kind of waiting for the crosser. And again, I don't know if you're just like a second late with your eyes or something, but you can see they're kind of, he's kind of sitting back waiting for the crosser to come to him, right? He's in good position. He throws it. And if you get your head turned a second earlier, you're in really good position. You end up making the tackle immediately because you're right there. But that's another one that maybe a head turned a second sooner might be picked. Here's a nice field. This is Jonas Taclona. He had an unbelievable game. He had a great tackle later on duo, I believe. But this is a great job. Like, you want to talk about putting your helmet on the football? Bang. And this is an important, like, you look, 3:15 left. You've just gone down and scored. Boise's about to respond possibly with a touchdown of their own. At worst, likely a field goal to tie the game going into the kind of 2-minute timeout area, right? Instead, great individual play, right? Avoiding the blocker, putting your helmet on the ball, knocking it out, causing that fumble. Singleton's there, Johnny on the spot, picking it up, keeping points off the board. So really big, obviously, to keep that off the board. So 3rd and 10 here. They're going with that same kind of dagger concept we saw earlier in the game. He's going to kind of sit up here. Tough kind of throw, but he's somewhat clean here, right? He's kind of moving inside with this through route. Everyone else is bailed out. If you put it on him right here, I don't know if he gets the first down, but you got a chance at least. The throw is a little wide. Again, a catchable ball. And it's hard to tell from this angle how close this defensive back was to it. But it's kind of, you can see the flight of the ball looks a little strange. It's not a tight spiral. It's kind of dying on him. And now, again, this one's probably catchable. But maybe if it's more on his body, you've got a real good chance to catch it, turn upfield, and get the first down, right? And I don't know if the receiver should be kind of trying to widen, hit my spot and maybe widen away from this guy. I'm not sure how they're teaching it, but it feels like a little bit better throw. And again, it's hard to tell. This guy may have been close, and that might have been the only spot I could hit it. It's hard to tell from this angle. But either way, maybe a better throw, or just if I'm just able to catch it, now I get myself into a 4th and manageable in this situation. Maybe not under 2 minutes, but this might be a go spot. But if it is a quick decision, catchable throw where it's right on me, especially tight ends and running backs, you want to really put it as much on their body as you can. You can turn upfield and maybe make a play. But so here's another look at, I don't know if this is duo exactly, it kind of plays out like it. So I think it is. And look at the difference in terms of your corner coming up and tackling right here. Like, don't wait. First of all, Banks does a really good job of engaging this receiver who's got a block on this and blowing him up and putting him into the backfield. that makes it bounce. Instead of pressing in line of scrimmage and bouncing late, it makes it bounce early. And now this is a great job filling here. I think it's Duclona again. Fills, makes a great play on first down there early in the third quarter. So you get 2nd and 12, and this is just a straight dominating on the speed rush here. Just look how fast you are off the football. Seems like you might have had a good count on their snap count here. A little early, like timed it up really good. Like he's past the line of scrimmage and nobody else has hardly moved. So the tackle's got no shot here. He's not even out of his stance before he's by him and is able to get the sack there. Kills this drive, basically puts you in the 3rd and 18 on the goal line. And then this is the guy everyone was talking about all camp. People were talking about he's an NFL receiver. He had some good plays, and he's a big, tall, smooth mover. So you can definitely see why people are thinking that. But watch this rep of man-on-man here. Ball's not great, but you squeeze him all the way to the sideline. There ain't nowhere to throw that ball unless you really back shoulder it. So great rep here at corner. I think that might have been Duclona again. Or let's see. No, I think that's Chenault. So there's sophomore against a guy that 5-star coming out of high school. Guys thinks he's an NFL player. You just squeeze him all the way to the sideline. Really good rep there. So even if it was a better throw, it probably gets picked or knocked away. So really good rep of man-on-man right there. All right, so here's the fake punt. So I'm trying to figure out what the look is. I'm assuming maybe there's some type of safe punt look where these guys are playing almost like at the sticks, and you think you can just run by him. He said they didn't want to put too much air under it because you got to throw it before he gets to. But I'm assuming this is a safe punt look they saw, because you see they're playing almost like 3 guys under in a zone right here. So there's an underneath guy, and he's not turning and running with the gunner. He's like, they're definitely playing for some type of fake, it looks like, but they're not paying for a fake over their heads and in front of the gunner. So probably assuming, maybe, and this guy's back on the 5-yard line too, so there's a ton of room here. So not sure what the look was here that Boise was trying to show, but these guys are definitely squatted and eyes like they're playing zone coverage, right? These are not man coverage eyes. So really good job spotting this on film. And then, like we said earlier, it doesn't have to be a perfect throw. Give your guy a chance. Singleton goes up, makes a great play, and then run after the catch. Big time stuff. And that's, I kind of forgot. Look how late in the third. This is halfway through the third quarter. This is still a relatively close game, kind of anyone's game here. You're able to get that stop on defense, really push him back to the goal line. You make some great plays in the run game, great plays, make him punt from the 1, and then you go down, you're forced to punt, but you pull this out, and that kind of really switched the momentum of the whole game. I put this one on here because I thought this is a good indicator of how USF had Boise off kilter a little bit. Boise anticipating they're going to hear, and they're anticipating man coverage. They're anticipating being able to hold, and sneak this guy out late. And they're anticipating that being wide open because USF, in their mind, is probably going to play man coverage here on 4th and 1. So USF actually doesn't play man. And you see they're as they try to sneak this out, he's looking for it, and USF has somebody just sitting right there waiting for it. So if he throws that, it's picked or this guy gets decapitated. So now he looks, oh, wait, where's my other crosser? Doing a pretty good job covering that one as well. You got somebody squatting, waiting for it here. Now the quarterback makes a good play here, takes off and picks it up with his legs, but you had them kind of fooled there. So I thought a good indication of USF having a pretty good idea what Boise want to do, and Boise really not knowing how USF was going to play it. 4th and 2. So sometimes you get fortunate. Right here, it's pretty good play call on. This is something you see a ton of teams run. You're going to get a snag, a corner, a flat by the back, double slant up top, air raid staple. You see it all over college football. You see this in the NFL a ton too. Right here, if he puts it on the back, he should be able to pick up the first down. Even if he drives it right now on this, you got a chance. Bad throw. Sometimes you're fortunate, and that's all right. So right here, good play action shot. You got one high safety. You're going to switch release this here. But it's really deep post. And then he's switched in a deep over. So you really can high-low. If it's one high safety, you can just high-low him, right? If he drives the over or if he's flat-footed, throw the post over his head. If he bails a ton and gets underneath the post, throw that deep over. You're getting really good playoff play action here. Hard play action. Safety's a little flat-footed, so you rip it over his head. Right, there's the safety. Right, so he played down onto the over route. There's the post going over his head. Really good throw. Great job tracking the ball here. Not my favorite catch, but hey, you catch it. A lot of body there. But catch it. Good ball. Good concept there. So it's really basically Y cross. So you're going to switch release and run a deep dig. He's running the deep over, and now you got the post. So if they do a decent job, you can go basically 1 to 2 to 3, really hoping he drives this, and I can throw the post over his head, which is exactly what happens, and USF's able to generate a big play, right? Down to down wasn't great, but Byram in a pocket with some distress throws a dime down the field to generate a big play. I believe the very next play, they hit you fast. So a little wrinkle here. Not only do they have the arc, right? We talked about that earlier. We're running zone. We're arcing. We're reading him. If he goes inside that kind of it's not a slice block, right? Slice would be kicking out, but he's slice-esque, and then he's arcing around him, kind of leaving him there. You also have the safety or the receiver coming down and cracking. And if they feel like it's main coverage, this guy may run with him and kind of take himself out of the play. So right here, you get the arc, takes care of the linebacker, and the safety who came to fill, right? Earlier, Byram ran the safety over. Well, here comes the safety to fill. Well, now you've got a receiver that's going to be cracking on him. Now, you end up missing here, but receiver comes to crack him, at least makes him stop and turn and get upfield. Right? So instead of him getting run over, he's getting blocked. And now the corner is playing kind of man coverage, right? So he runs with it. So it's really a clever way to get yourself a ton of space here. As you can see right here, blocked, and now I got a ton of space to the outside for, my best player. And this is where you make corners tackle. They usually can't. Get off me. I think you cut it off before he gives the too small celebration, but really good design there. All right, first play of the fourth quarter. I like this screen call here. Tackle's going to invite the rush upfield. You're going to get guard, center, guard out. So good job engaging with it. So you're going to get right guard, center, left guard out. The back works outside. Good job by the tackle inviting the rush upfield, but not making it too easy. Good catch there by Norton. And then he seems like a guy, once you get him in the open field, he's a big body and is really hard to tackle. So really good call there on the screen. He's able to take it down. Again, another one where he fumbled, but he's able to somehow get it back. I just thought those kind of plays showed how much USF seemed to want this game, and maybe a little bit more than Boise. I don't know. So really good job, really well-timed screen, good, well-executed screen there. And then it looks a little bit like the other ones, right? But you're going to insert. So Byron's been reading it, right? He's been reading and keeping. Here you're going to actually, I don't know if there is a read here or not, but you are inserting. So it's like an ISO almost. double there. So we're going to double team here. Base block, pull for this backer here. Probably reach backside or base block backside. Turns into kind of ISO. They end up doing a good job of double. This is a really good job here of double and then coming off the double. And now he can get all the way out to here, basically. Then the back makes the unblocked guy miss, runs through another one for a touchdown. So really, really well done there. Then this is the big run later. Looks just like the ones Byram has pulled. You can get the motion here, right? That he's pulled. This time he gives it, but you see the play he gets from pulling it previously. You kind of get some eyes here to watch the play you get. Right? He's standing out here. He's slow here. Really good job of just washing these guys down and creating, right, his indecision right here and then washing these guys down creates this big vertical seam right there, right? And look, he's trying to play quarterback. He gets caught in no man's land. And then you get guys in space that have the speed. That's when you create some big plays in the running game. All right, so another 4th and short. I wanted to put this one on here because what was interesting here is this is Mike Lofton. This is Cole Best. So you put in a different center here, and then you're going to pull him, and then you have another lineman here. So this is like you're running like belly lead or G lead here, where you're going to down, kick the first thing out, and then he's going to lead up on whatever's left. You get some interior penetration here by your center, and it kind of blows the play up. But I thought it was interesting. You kind of put a different center in there for the play. So, yeah, that's it for this initial film room. A lot of really good stuff on film. A lot of fun stuff to see. Really well done job, I think, by the USF coaching staff. They were ready for Boise. Boise was not quite ready for the things they wanted to do. So really good job. Made some adjustments during the game, they said, but I thought they had a really good plan and kept Boise on their toes. So kudos to the USF coaching staff there. I thought they kind of really dominated that game strategically, and the guys went out and executed really well. So thank you guys for watching the film room. These will be out every week. First for the patrons, and then later on the week for everybody on YouTube. Thanks for checking these out. If you want them first, and there may be some that are exclusive to the patrons at the Patreon for the Bay Area Examiner Patreon. Check that out, patreon.com/Bay Area Examiner. The Ponderosa gets you during football season. That's the best value. You're getting at least 2 probably extra pieces of content a week, podcasts, and then the film room, possibly other things. So check us out there. And all of our patrons, thank you guys for subscribing. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with another edition of the Bay Area Examiner Film Room.